Hello everyone, this is Chris9017 and here we are in the basement of my parents' house. And what we're looking at right now is an old locomotive of mine that I've had for about 5 years. She is a Bachmann 260 Mogul locomotive. In fact, she's this one right here. South Pacific Coast number 12. That's how she looked like when she was brand new on Christmas of 2005. And here she is right now. The engine just received a complete ground-up rebuild in this past August. What I did was I completely tore this locomotive apart. Every last nut and bolt was removed off this locomotive. The boiler was pulled off. All this brass piping, the sand dome, the steam dome, all this external piping, as well as the boiler bands and the bell, were pulled off. All 6 driving wheels were dropped, along with the bearings. All the side rods taken off, the cylinders were removed. The engine was completely rebuilt from the ground up. The engine hadn't run since 2008 at a train event, and the reason being is at this train event she was giving us a lot of problems. This locomotive is known to be the most finicky in my collection for some reason. Then again, steam locomotives are known to have personalities of their own, and in some ways for model trains, there is no real exception. So in some cases, model electric trains are sometimes no different. This engine, though, has lightened up over the years, especially after her rebuild. She still is a little finicky from time to time, but not nearly as bad as how she used to be. She's very high maintenance, though. I use Magic Steam Smoke Oil to produce the smoke, and she's got an LGB smoke unit in her. She's got a Phoenix PB11 sound unit. And what I use to lubricate her, even though this says Proto Smoke, it is not. The smoke oil has long been gone in this bottle. What's in there now is Royal Purple motor oil. 10W30 Royal Purple synthetic oil, to be exact. It works great in my car. It's what I put in my car, and I thought, I wonder how good it would work on a model steam locomotive, and it turns out it works great for lubricating the gears and the running, moving parts and everything. And I thought, there are a lot of bad oils out there for cars. The same thing is for model trains. There are a lot of bad oils out there. Very few good oils. In fact, Easy Lube, Bachmann recommends Easy Lube plastic compatible lubricants, but no. That will actually slowly eat away at the plastic, even though it's plastic compatible. Hobby Lube is much better, and this Royal Purple that I've, which is synthetic, is is really expensive, but it's the best stuff you could probably use on a model steam locomotive. If you look at this, it actually is purple. Yep, that is purple. And that stuff goes into your car, and it's what oils my steam locomotive, and it does a great job at it. Yeah, Zelda's pretty happy right now. She's, not being too cantankerous. She's had a pretty good run today. I have a huge collection of steam locomotives. Right there's another new Bright 440, which is undergoing cosmetic work. a cow catcher from LGB, a beautiful Eureka and Palisade. Down there is my very first steam locomotive I got in G-scale when I was 7 years old, and it was from then on that I started collecting steam engines. Behind there is the rear truck of my Meadow River Lumber Company shave. There's my Luke and Steel Company Heisler, my Pennsylvania 260 Mogul. Yeah, I know, I've got a lot of trains. And back at my apartment, I have battery-operated trains and a LGB Grizzly Flats Chloe, as well as an Olumana locomotive. Yeah. What got me into steam trains was my very first trip to Disneyland. I wasn't even a year old. This was in the summer of 1989. My parents decided to go to Disneyland. They took me with them. And we went up to Main Street train station. And it wasn't 5 minutes. And in came this beautiful little green steam locomotive with red wheels, a single-noted whistle, a brass capstack. It was the most beautiful sight I had ever seen, and it's what captured me, and it's what got me into old steam locomotives. And that locomotive happened to be the E.P. Ripley, which was Walt Disney's favorite locomotive. Walt's favorite locomotive is what got me into trains. Yeah, following the, to get back on the topic, following this engine, we've got a Bachmann Boxcar. It's a smaller boxcar. It's a Florence and Cribble Creek, along with a Pennsylvania Combine, or baggage car, should I say, an Atchison Topeka and Santa Fe Combine. And in the back is a New York Central Line parlor car. I'll give this engine a quick run around, and we'll follow her. I should give it a little more voltage because this thing will steam like crazy. From some of the features of this locomotive, she's got an inside operating Stevenson valve gear, an in-glowing firebox, an ash pan. A directional operating LED headlamp as well. And this LGB smoke unit seems to be taking its time. It's got an on-off switch. We'll take a look at the other side of this engine. And the train. Yeah. So you can see this engine also has sand lines, many other piping, bending with nuts, bolts, and washers, beautifully chemically blackened machine metal wheels, and realistically detailed tender trucks with brake beams, hangers, and shoes. In fact, this locomotive, in many ways, is modeled after Ward Kimball's Emma, Nevada steam locomotive. It was built in 1881 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works, and she now resides on display at the Orange Empire Railroad Museum in Paris, California. But there are plans to restore that locomotive back to operating service. She will need a new welded boiler and a new set of casted cylinders. I heard they're in the works, as well as some new bearings and some repairs to the air pump and tender bogies, and she should be good to go. But this engine is a fine example of a classic American steam locomotive. I will bring her to a stop in a few. Let's speed her up a little bit. Well, my camera is nearly coming to the end, so I'll slow her down to a stop. And there we go. I hope you enjoyed this film of this locomotive. She is a cantankerous locomotive, but she showed her good side for the camera today. I am proud to present her to you. And she's still moving forward. It's another one of her traits. Sometimes you think she stopped, but she's not. Typical Zelda. Well, that's it for now. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the film, and I'm proud to present my South Pacific Coast Bachmann 260 Mogul. This is Chris 9017, out.